Hola! So, I am doing my first mukbang eating show, and it's entirely vegan, as you would expect. So I wanted to talk about like the protests that have been going on and some of the things that I've seen and just enjoy some food, really. So I have got this from Doko Demo V in Burley via Uber Eats. I do just want to say that any of the opinions or comments that I share in no way reflect the restaurant or Uber Eats at all. I'm in no way affiliated with them, or this isn't a message from them. They're just providing nice food, and I am just talking while I eat, so I just wanted to make sure there was no confusion. So I did get quite a bit of food because it's an eating show. What am I going to do? Just have a small snack? That's going to be so boring. And they always write me a little thank you message at the top, which is pretty cool. And they staple the bag shut so that your delivery driver can't eat anything without you knowing, which is definitely a bonus. Although, I think we could have gone with putting them in 2 bags, because this is bursting at the seams, as you can see. And now it's like a little milk carton. But all of this is vegan. I order from them quite a lot. I already ordered from them today, and had a really delicious salad with imitation meat. A lot of this is imitation meat. You'll soon see. It's already so hot. I have my eaten robe on so that I'm ready to rumble. I really wish I bought the air conditioner remote in here. So, what did I order? Well, first on the menu, I've got some little nuggets, some little imitation chicken nuggets with veganese, mayonnaise, like a little aioli type of dip, and a little salad with it. So I can't wait to try that because I haven't had that yet. Imitation, I actually don't think this is imitation. I think it's just a mushroom bolognese. There's no meat or dairy in it, of course. If you are wondering about my hair, I did have a photo shoot today. So I still have a bump it in, but it's like completely, you know, like I've taken a nap in it, I've like done this and that. It's the end of the night, so my hair may be a little bit of a mess. I'm just gonna take this off for a moment because I'm already heating up, let alone when I actually finally eat. Now this I have had before. I've also had the bolognese before. It's really delicious, and this is so nice as well. It is a foot-long hot dog. No, it's not. This is the burger and chips. How embarrassing. I haven't had this yet, but a burger and chips. I believe it's got like an not imitation. It's a mushroom burger. So I can't wait to try that because I love mushroom. I know a lot of people don't like mushroom, and that's fine. Now this is what I was talking about. The foot-long hot dog, they have to cut a bit of it off so they can fit it in the box because it's an entire foot long. Vegan sausage. It's got like sauerkraut, onion, mustard, tomato sauce, some lettuce situations going on. This is really amazing. I love a vegan hot dog. There's another vegan hot dog that you can get in Burley actually as well. It's really nice. But yeah, so that's the food I've ordered. And for all of that, that was only $60 including postage. So postage, like they posted it to me, including delivery. So I 110% would recommend going to them because so far I've only had delicious food from them. I'll put this back here. Let's put it that way so it's got the little thank you message on it. Yeah, and to drink, I have my Kirk's Ginger Ale, and of course my no sugar vanilla cola. Where would I be without vanilla cola? Nobody knows. But they only gave me one knife and fork and spoon for all of this food. I mean, I do order quite a lot from them, so they probably knew it was just for me. I'm gonna start with the burger, because this is the one I'm like the most excited to try out, and some chips. I'm really glad it came with chips, because I never order chips with anything. I don't know why. I just don't think about them. I don't care about chips, but these chips are really good. And we'll try out, I think it's an aioli. I actually didn't check. It smells like an aioli. So we'll have a little chips and aioli. Really good. It's got lemon in it. This is so good. I'm gonna fill up on chips. This is why I don't order chips. We'll try a little nugget. It's like a popcorn chicken moment. This is really good. This is so good. Honestly love that. And like, I don't like a lot of foods. If you know me in person, if you follow me online even, you know I don't eat. Like, I don't cook for myself. I only eat fast food, packet food. Like, I really love this. It's so good. Oh, this is heaven. This is gonna be like the best night of my life. Eating all of this food, making a video at the same time, talking about things I care about. Perfect. If you don't like the chewing, I'm really sorry, but what do you expect? I do eat in my bag quite a lot. I always eat on top of the doona so I can just like flick it off. The burger is what worries me the most, because it will get messy and you guys will see me like eating messily. So this is my first mukbang, my first eating show, my first eating on camera, which is a big deal for me, because if you watch my other video, you know that I suffer from aphids and I have sometimes trouble eating, and we'll get into that later, and like vegan food has really helped with that. So I'm gonna try this burger. I'll just like dust all of this off. Oh, get ready for it all to fall out, but honestly, this mushroom looks so good, and there's like broccoli in there and tomato, and it's just like, isn't that just like everything? Oh my god. It's like kind of barbecue-y as well. This is so good. I'm gonna be so full. This is literally heaven. You don't understand how excited I am to be eating this and just how delicious it is. And like when I say I don't like food, I genuinely do not enjoy eating, but this just makes it all worth it. Like, it's so good. So tasty, and it's a mushroom. Like, I love mushroom. If you don't like mushroom, they have other options. I'll link them below, so you can find them and you can try them out. If you're vegan or not, like, try this out. It's delicious. And like, the little popcorn chickens are amazing with the little what is it, like a aioli? I always forget what aioli's called, because I always go to call it halloumi, which I don't know if I've ever had a halloumi. I probably have. This is like dripping so much. It's so good. My god. This is so good. So fucking good. And like, after you eat, like, I don't know if anyone else gets this when you eat, but when I used to like eat meat, dairy, all of that stuff, and we'll talk about that soon, and being vegan and all the stuff that's going on right now, but like after eating, like you'd feel so heavy, or at least that's like what I get. Like I feel like the food is just like sitting inside my stomach, which was a huge problem for me. Like I didn't like being reminded that I just ate, or that there's like food just like sitting in my body, like rotting and decomposing and like being digested. Like yuck, who wants that? Not me. But like eating vegan food, like you don't get that feeling afterwards. You just like feel full, and like it just tastes so good. Like I can't even put into words. My mom. And like, if it didn't taste good, I would not tell you it tastes good, honestly. Because I'm just not that bitch. Like, I know the struggle of like someone telling you to eat something and that it's really good, and then it's like not good, and you're like, what the fuck did you just do to me? Like, I get so enraged when people are like, try this, it's really nice, you'll like it. And I'm like, I know I'm not gonna like it. And then they like, instead of getting that thing you like, you're like, sure, I'll try new things. I like to try new things and find out, you know, find something that I like. And then you hate it, and I literally want to cry when that happens. Oh my god. This is so good. And like, I know I'm gonna fill up on these like, on the burger and like little popcorn chickens. But like, it's literal heaven. So the main reason that I like wanted to do this, or the main reason at least I'm doing this today, is because recently there were those protests, the animal rights activist protests, however you want to call it. And there's just been like a lot of media about it, and a lot of it has been misleading. Some of it's been accurate. You know, when people have a lot of opinions, this is so good. Let me just like take a bite out of this. Oh. So good. And the sausage is so good. And like I said, like, you don't feel heavy after it, and like, you don't have to worry about animals being tortured. It's honestly so fucking good. Like, people need to get onto this. Like, before I became vegan, so in high school I tried to become vegan. It lasted a whole day because I had no idea what I was doing or what was out there, and also back then there weren't as many vegan options, and so my idea of vegan food was just like not good. And I think a lot of people still have that idea, but like, look at this. It's I need to get the bolognese out of the aircon or it'll go cold. I'm gonna burp a lot, I'm gonna slurp a lot, and if anyone is like, that's so rude, that's so disgusting, like, if I was at a dinner table I wouldn't be doing this, but I'm literally in my bedroom just like filming a video. And also in Japan that's a really polite thing to do, so maybe you just aren't cultured enough to burp and slurp at the table. So that's what I think of you. Oh my god. Yes. Yes, bitch, all the way. But yeah, so these protests. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, because I have some opinions, I have some thoughts, I have some feelings. I'm sure you're not surprised. I've like been to, I wouldn't call it a protest. The one that I went to, it was kind of like a display, an exhibit kind of thing. We just like walked around the street holding up like signs. I had like duct tape over my mouth. So like, I can, like, when I tell you, I was prepared for people to be rude, but And I'm a pretty tough cookie. This is so good. And it smells so good. And it's like, we used to have bolognese a lot at home when I was a kid. So I never really order bolognese. But this is really good. Right, this is so good. Yeah, so I went to this thing. I was prepared for people to be rude, for people to shout stuff, but like, I saw a grown adult man, like maybe close to his 50s, with his son, throw water in a 16-year-old girl's face, try and take her phone from her, and try and assault her. Like, I understand that maybe it's confronting to see these things, and maybe you don't think it's like the appropriate way to go about what have you or whatever, but like, a grown adult man tried to assault a teenage girl just because she was holding up a sign that had like a photo of a pig. And the thing is, like, the images on the signs may be confronting, but those images are real, and those images are taken of the animals in the slaughterhouses and all of that stuff. So it's like, it's not like the protesters are like, let's create this really confronting idea and like expose people to it. People are like, this really confronting idea is a reality and you need to like be aware of it. And you know, it's not right. Like, regardless of if you think eating meat is okay, regardless of like what you think of being vegan or anything like that, I, in my heart of hearts, believe that not a single person in this world thinks that it is okay to have like a pregnant pig trapped in a cage for a month where they like can't move, or you know, there's like 6 chickens stuffed into an A4 cage, an A4 size cage. There's like 6 chickens in there. If one of them dies, the dead chicken just stays in there and they just stand on top of its dead body while it rots. Like, and they're in there for like a year. Like, it's really not good. Like, I think when people become more aware of it, it's always a positive, you know? And people will say, oh, that doesn't happen. It does happen. That's why people are upset. People aren't just upset over nothing. Like, these people aren't doing it as a hobby. And that's another thing. Like, I think people sometimes see it as like, oh, these are just like rebelling kids and all of that stuff, or like, these people are just like trying to be anarchists. And the thing is, like, my best friend does a lot of activism, and I'm really proud of her for that, and that's something we can talk about later as well. And like, she'll get up at 12 at night to go to a slaughterhouse and like hopefully free some animals and like show what's going on in there. Like, it's not a hobby, it's not convenient to anyone, and they don't, like, you have to realize these protesters would prefer to not have that to talk about, or not have that to show. But the fact that it exists, like, you have to bring awareness to that, because those are living beings, and they're, you know, they're being hurt, and they're being tortured. This is so good. But I'm gonna save that one for later. I'm gonna finish this burger. Like, and I'm probably not communicating as well as, like, somebody else could. Ooh, now I'm spitting everywhere. But, like, the things that go on aren't okay. And I really don't believe anyone thinks that it is. I think sometimes how people take it is, you're challenging my beliefs and you're telling me to change, but I don't have to change because of you. Nobody likes being told to change. I know that. We all know that. It's like, you have to look past that and see that these are people that really, really care about what's going on, and they want you to be aware of it. And you may not stop eating meat, you may not stop drinking milk. I don't speak for everyone, but I'm just trying to communicate, like, how I feel you may not go vegan. But even if you believe that we should eat meat till the day we die, the things going on in these places, you can't justify. You can't justify what happens, even to the point of like wool. You think, oh, surely they just shave the sheep. There you go, whatever. I thought that as well. I 100% thought that as well. They don't. They will do things like break their legs. They cut off their tails without anesthetic and just leave like an open wound. They just cut the tail off because all of these sheep are crammed together and they need to cut the tail off to prevent cannibalism somehow. I don't know if the cows just start chewing on each other's tails because they're like hungry. Which to me, like, they say it's to prevent cannibalism, and so to me that sounds like the sheep just start eating each other's tails. And like, if these sheep were being taken care of, they wouldn't be trying to eat each other's tails. Also, if you really in your soul think you need to cut off its tail instead of providing a better solution, would you not at least use anesthetic? And people are like, you know, it's fine. It's the food chain. It's the circle of life. But the reality is, I don't know anyone that could go out to a farm, bare hand, and beat a cow into submission, kill it with their bare hands, tear the skin off, and start eating the meat. You know, people are like, oh, lions eat meat, dogs and cats eat meat. All of those animals can catch their own food with their bare hands. They are meant to do that, you know? And people will say, back in the cavemen times, we've been doing it since then. Well, maybe we have. But there's lots of things that we don't do now that we used to do back then. And also, I'd like to remind you, the life expectancy of a caveman was like 30, if that. So, I'm just a little confused about some of the things, some of the ways people try and justify it. Like, it's not justifiable. Okay, like, you might eat meat, you might drink milk, you might wear leather and furs and do this and that. I get that. But you can't justify what's happening to the animals because there's no excuse. Even if we're meant to do those things, even if we're meant to eat meat, drink milk, which we'll get into milk and why that just like does not make sense to me, but I don't think it's necessary to drill a hole in the side of a cow to feed it, you know? And that happens. I don't think it's necessary to forcibly impregnate a cow, which is rape. They're literally put in something called a rape rack, where the cow's head is stuck in between these bars and they just inseminate the cow. And once it has the calf is taken away. These cows are pumped full of hormones. And so that's just so the cow keeps producing milk, you know? And I know that I used to think they just milk the cow into a bucket. That's what I was always taught. And, you know, as you get older, you're like, oh, surely, you know, they probably just hook them up to a machine, you know, maybe an hour every day. It's not ideal, but is it really that bad? But the thing is, that's not what they're doing. They put holes in the side of the cow, they pour the food into one of the stomachs, and then, you know, they, like I said, they rape the cow and get it pregnant, and then take the calf away. Well, the cow is literally just stuck where it is with these, like, pumps, and they're, like, being pumped full of hormones, and everyone's so concerned about their health. Let me just take a bite. Like, everyone's like, oh, you know, we need meat for iron and protein. We need milk for calcium. The calcium, And look, I'm not trying to force feed you anything. Do your own research, figure out your own stuff. I can't live your life for you. That's not what this is about. But the calcium in cow's milk isn't that major. And the phosphate in the cow's milk pulls calcium out of your bones. So I'm a little confused, okay, about that. It's a marketing ploy. And the thing is, by the time you actually get the milk, it's hardly milk. And we all know that. Everyone's aware of that. This isn't news. It's bleached, it's pasteurized, it's all of that. No one's surprised by that. But like, to say you need milk makes no sense, because if we needed milk as an adult, our mothers would still be lactating. That's just a fact. You know? Like, and it's also bizarre to drink the milk of another animal. I'm sure we've all seen that video of that boy drinking from the cow's udder, and people are like, this is wrong, this is so uncomfortable. How? If you're so okay with it, with like having these cows tied up, beaten, and like, I know you don't want to believe that happened, and I don't want to believe it either. And I know it just sounds like a bunch of jargon, like, oh, it's bad, they beat the cow. And you think, why the fuck would they beat the cow? Good question, why would they beat the cow? But these people do that. It's like, the regulation around this industry isn't airtight. It's just not. There's something called SAP, which is like, you can do this is like viable. It's called smack against pavement. When one of the pigs has a piglet, and the piglet is maybe for, whether it's for business reasons or life reasons, or, you know, like, they just think the piglet's no good. We don't want that piglet. We need to get rid of it. It's sick. We're not paying for it to get better. It's not big enough. Whatever reasoning they have. It is a viable option for them to smack the piglet into the pavement until it dies. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. I was surprised to find that out. I didn't want to believe it. No one ever wants to believe it. Let me tell you, no one wants to believe these things. Vegans included. We don't want to believe it happens, but it does. That's what's like really sad, is people turn a blind eye because they just don't want to believe it, because there's ego involved and there's guilt involved, and you don't need to feel guilty about what you didn't know. You know, maybe people do make you feel guilty, that's not what it's about. But you just have to be aware of these things, and like how I found out about all of this. So, as I said, back in high school, I tried to go vegan. Lasted one day. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how to do it. Didn't know where to look, what to find. On top of that, I don't cook for myself, and back then, that really limited a lot. So we didn't have Uber Eats. Like I said, there wasn't that many options. And then I did go vegan. I mean, I went vegetarian for a few years, and my best friend, Olivia, who I mentioned earlier, that does activism, she was vegan, and I always was in the state of mind of, oh, I'll be vegan one day when I'm ready, when I can. I guess I just had this, like, bad experience previously with going vegan, and so I was like, I'll get around to it when I have the energy, when I have the time, when I have the, like, scruples to be able to do that. I actually remember the day that I had this thought. I had just had my boobs done. I was at a convenience store with Olivia, and we were looking for snacks. I was vegetarian at the time, mind you. We were looking at snacks, and she'd just pick up the snack. She'd go, oh, I like that. She'd pick up the snack, have a look at the back, at the content, and just see if it had milk in it. Or any other animal product, egg, meat. And she'd go, oh no, put it back. Look at another one. Okay, cool. It doesn't. And I remember that, and I remember being like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I think sometimes we get the idea that it's going to be like, you have to look for the vegan thing. The thing that's marked vegan, says vegan, is like, this is vegan, this is the vegan food, it's been made vegan. That's just not the case. Oreos are vegan, which I was delighted to find out. So I buy Oreos by the bucket load. Like literally in, you know, like the foil, you can get the foil roll of Oreos. They're like $1 a pack. And they're like in the display. If you move the display, they have a whole box of 24 of those same foil ones. I just take that off the shelf and have them scan it. And you just pay $24 and you've got like a forever supply of Oreos. Well, for me, it lasts like 2 weeks. But it's really not that hard. So that was when I decided I'm gonna go vegan, and I haven't always been like a strict vegan. Anyone that knows me knows I'd flip and I'd flop and I'd, you know, not be vegan, or like I'd have a non-vegan meal and I'd be like, whatever, I'm vegan most of the time. And then, you know, if there was like a snack around and it wasn't vegan, I'd just eat it. Like, I didn't really think about it, but for the most part, I was vegan. And what really changed that was I went to the premiere of Dominion, which you've probably heard about with all these protests going on and all of that stuff. You would have heard about Dominion. It's a documentary about what goes on in animal agriculture, and honestly, it's unbelievable. Like, it's really unbelievable. You're like, Jesus Christ. You know? I know me sitting here on my bed talking about it, like, I'm probably not giving you all the facts. Of course I'm not giving you all the facts. I don't know all the facts. And I'm kind of just, you know, gliding through because I'm just having a conversation over a meal. I get that. But, like, watch Dominion and you'll be like, wow. And that's the thing, is the information is real and the videos are real and the videos are taken inside these factory farms and the slaughterhouses. So if you are unaware of what's going on and you want maybe you want a justifiable argument for why you still eat meat. Maybe you want to know what the vegans are talking about. Maybe you just want more information, which I recommend, regardless of how you walk away from it, regardless of what you take from that movie, regardless of, you may not be going into it looking for a reason to turn vegan. I'm not saying that at all. But if you are wanting more information about where your food's coming from, why people are so upset about it, why these people are doing this, and you want to know like what's actually going on, go watch Dominion. I'll link that as well. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was unaware of, that I was like, wow, that is next level crazy. And I don't think everyone is just going to stop eating meat and dairy. I don't think that at all. I don't think that overnight everyone's just going to I don't think people are just going to watch the movie and go, oh my god, I've seen the light. Hopefully some of you do. But I think a good place to start is maybe a bit of reform in this industry, in that it doesn't need to be as insane as it is. Once you watch the movie, you'll understand what I mean by insane. It's like, you don't need to club these animals over the head. You don't need to have them packed into these tiny cages. Like, anything in life, and this isn't just about animal agriculture, this is just in life. Anything that you do, no matter how well you do it, you can always do it better. There is always a way to do it better. You may not know it yet. You may not be the person that ever figures it out. But at some point in time, there will be a way to do it better. And I just think, I know for certain that people will still be eating meat, people will still be drinking dairy, and it's not going to change overnight. I know that. But I do think that how we get the meat, especially dairy, I mean, come on, we don't need to do those things when just trying to get milk out of an udder. Like, hello? You don't need to do that. And we'll get into milk because that's disgusting. Who came up with that, first of all? It doesn't taste great. It carries a lot of, like, allergens as well. It's just gross. It's pus. It's the fluid from an animal's udder. Yuck. But anyway, that aside, what I think of it aside, there's always better ways to do something. There's always more ethical ways to do something. And there's always kinder ways to do something. I think before we try and get everyone to stop eating meat, and before we try and get everyone to stop drinking dairy, which is ideal, I think the best start is just reform. We don't need to have 6 chickens locked in an A4 cage. Who approved that? You know? We don't need to drill a hole in the side of the cow to feed it just because it makes you money faster. Get more cows. Get more room to keep the cows on, you know? Like, you're making the money. Just do better. That's all you have to do is do better. You know? And the thing is, with these protests, people are like, oh, these activists have gone too far. They're going into people's homes. They're ruining their lives. I'm sorry, but I understand somebody coming into your home, and they're not going into homes, by the way. They're going onto farms, which I know, you know, splitting hairs. Is it the farm, the home? Like, they're not going into the household. They're going onto the farms where you can see the animals, or they're going into slaughterhouses and factory farms. And what they're showing is what's happening in there. Regardless of what you think of the activists, regardless of what you think of being vegan, or how you feel it's like being jammed down your throat, or whatever opinion it is you have, the things that the activists are exposing are real and happening, unfortunately. And I just, everyone that isn't a complete clinical sociopath does not believe in animal torture and animal cruelty. If somebody treated your dog the way that these animals are being treated, you would want someone to intervene. You just would. And that's what the goal is to stop these things from happening. Let me just have a bite of this. Yum. Like, I see things in the news that are just, like, crazy. I saw an article that said, now the activists are targeting Ingham. From what I've been told, from what I've heard, from what I know, Ingham has a contract with a, like, activist group, I'm not 100% sure which one, where they can go and protest. I think it's once every 2 weeks. It may be once a month. I believe it's once every 2 weeks, but there is a contract between Ingham and these protesters to be able to do that, you know? And you're probably thinking, well, why would they do that? It's a way to regulate it as a business. You can't, a business like that would never be able to stop activists from protesting. So they have managed to meet in the middle and say, we'll allow you this amount of time or this time slot to do that. And I think that that shows a willingness to understand, which is always a good start, a willingness to understand. If you take anything away from this, please have it be that. Have a willingness to understand where we're coming from. That's like what that's about. And, oh, I'm getting so full and I've hardly eaten all of this. Like, that's the thing with vegan food, is you get really full really fast. You don't feel heavy afterwards. You don't feel like gross and like sweaty. I don't know if anyone else sweats when they eat, but trust me, I used to. And like, and I know so many people are going to be like, oh my god, get a cup, like don't drink out of a bottle. I'm not sharing this bottle with anyone. And I'm in my bed. I'm not going to like balance a cup on my bed. Get a grip. It's a video. It's fine. What was I saying? What was I going on about? I just think it's like, it's important to be open-minded. I speak to a lot of people and they're like, so when I tell them I'm vegan, they always say, is it for your health or for the animals? To me, that says they're aware of the health benefits of being vegan and they're also aware of the cruelty to the animals. So I think everyone in their heart of hearts knows that what's happening to the animals is wrong. Whether you think eating meat is wrong or not, I'm not here to discuss that. If I'm really, really honest with you, I don't care if you like eating meat or not. Not my problem. Okay? I don't believe I'm the person that can change that in you. I wish I was. I just don't believe that I am. But I believe I can hopefully give you enough resources to look into what's happening to the meat and maybe the benefits of not eating meat and all of that stuff. And hopefully one day we'll be on the same page, and that would be really cool. If not, I think we could at least work together to do a better job for the animals, for the environment, for this and that. People always say it's so important to eat meat. Animal products are so vital to our health. Let me tell you something. And this is purely coincidental that I actually have this information about myself. I have like a history of migraines, right? And I would say it stopped for a really long time, which I was really happy about. And before anyone says, oh, you've got migraines because of being vegan, I'm not here to hear that, because the reason for my migraines, I've had migraines since I was a kid. Before I ever knew what being a vegan was. It's something we continue to look into about why I get them, if it's just stress, if it's like some situation going on. So anyway, at the start of the week, I had the single worst migraine I've had in my life. Half of my body went numb. Doctor thought I was having a heart attack. All of this stuff. Had to go to the ER, which sounds really dramatic. I get that, whatever. Because of that, I ended up getting like full blood tests, right? Of everything. And I do get I like to at least once a year get like full bloods done. Every like month and a half I do an STD test, which doesn't really show you like, are your vitamins okay? All of that stuff. So something I learned this week about myself was that my bloods are perfect. And I don't just mean they're good, I mean to the decimal they were exactly how they should be. Now this surprises me because anyone that knows me, anyone that follows me on the internet, anyone that has met me once knows I don't care about my health. I don't eat well. I only order in or have packet food. I don't get up in the morning and have breakfast and then sit down and have dinner at night. I possibly have one snack meal at lunch and then maybe I'll binge eat like this tonight, or I'll just like order something and just have like a quick meal. I'm not someone that cares about monitoring that stuff. I don't take vitamins. I've never taken vitamins. I don't believe in taking vitamins. That's just a personal thing. That's not based on anything. I just don't care about doing it. My bloods were perfect. All of my vitamins were perfect. And when I had this blood test, I was like, oh, the doctor's going to tell me, you need to eat meat, you're low in iron, you're low in calcium, B12. Vitamin D, I also was perfect. And I was surprised by that because I'm never in the sun. Aside from like 1 week at the start of the year where I was convinced I was a beach babe. We all saw that. Don't worry, we've moved past that. It was a phase. But all of my bloods were perfect. And I can only attribute that to eating vegan because it hadn't been like that in the past. In the past, I was vitamin D deficient, I was low in iron, I had to take so much magnesium, all of this stuff. And I'm not trying to bullshit you here. I'm not trying to say, oh, it's a miracle diet. Like, do this and you'll be healthy forever. I don't know anything about that. I really don't. And like I said, vitamin levels and all of that stuff, I don't really... Like, even if my vitamins were low and they, like, told me, oh, you need this and that, I probably wouldn't have cared. So I'm not trying to say this is, like, some miracle diet. If you eat vegan as well, you're going to have perfect blood tests. And you're going to be able to fly. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I can only attribute this to the decimal, all of my bloods being perfect in every vitamin. I can only attribute that to eating vegan because there's no other reason for it, to be honest. And like I said, I don't take supplements. In the past, it's been a lot worse. I've been anemic, I've been malnourished, and now that I exclusively eat vegan, that's not happening. That's not the case. So I'm really happy that I can share that fact, and I'm really happy that that's true for me. So somehow I'm doing something right. So I can tell you that being vegan, some people become vegan and they, they aren't aware of those things. Just like me, I'm not aware of those things. There are vegans that are malnourished and, are low in iron or whatever. There are also people that eat meat and dairy that are low in iron and are malnourished. What I'm trying to say is the diet comes down to the diet. You can have perfect levels like I do somehow. I'm still surprised because the frequency that I eat isn't consistent, but obviously that's just right for me. I'm not going to get into that. It's more the frequency and the amount that I eat that I was surprised. But again, because of those facts, I can only attribute the dietary needs that I am somehow getting to only eating vegan, which is good and it's a positive. Do with that what you will. I am so full, I'm like losing my train of thought. I'm like about to like fall asleep. But what I'm saying is you can survive without eating meat and dairy. That argument just isn't valid. It's just not, because eating dead flesh, I mean, sure, you can get iron and protein from it, but you can also get iron and protein from other things. Sure, you can get calcium from milk. You can also get calcium from other things. So I'm gonna eat this burger like a salad because it's like slipped apart, and I'm just gonna eat it with a fork. But what I mean is just be open to the idea, and if you are looking to try being vegan, and I wish someone had told this to me in the beginning, don't start, if you think that you aren't ready and you can't commit, but you want to try being vegan, people, I always say, just try 1 day a week. Try 1 meal a day, you know, do whatever it is you need to do. And that's all well and good, but if you don't know what you're doing, you just don't know what you're doing. What I would recommend is start by looking for vegan options you like. That's always the best start. Start with looking for vegan options you like. Try different things. Try imitation meat. Imitation meat is so delicious. The texture is just better. I find it so easy to eat. And like I said, I never feel heavy or bloated afterwards. There's some greens that make me feel bloated. I'm sure that's for everyone. There's just certain foods that do and don't make you bloated. I will also say that red meat is like the main cause of like, I think it's pancreatic cancer. Like, red meat is actually really bad. That's the thing. I also, there's an app called Is It Vegan? If you're looking to try out being vegan, finding out what's vegan that you already have. Let me just respond to this. Just download Is It Vegan? I'll link that as well. It shows you beauty products. You can like find out what foods are vegan that maybe aren't marked as vegan. You can plan in advance. It definitely helps. I'll also link Dominion, as I said, because that's really good. But I just want to go over some facts for you. I really should have brought them up earlier, but maybe you don't care about the animals. Maybe this and that. Maybe, you know, you're like, whatever, I'm gonna eat meat, you stupid bitch, shut the fuck up. Take your mushroom burger and shove it up your ass. That's fine. That's fine. I get it. It's whatever. You know? But the, like, environmental impact of animal agriculture as well is so bad. Like, it's worse than any, like, anything you're currently trying to do to help the environment. Going vegan will do better. Like, so people also don't realize these farms, it's not just like the animals are just out on the field, they get pregnant, they have kids, cool, more cattle to kill and eat and whatever. They're like mass produced as if they're a product, because to that industry they are. And so there's these billions of cows being mass produced for the sole purpose of slaughter, and that really contributes to the carbon footprint. One, for lack of a better word, manufacturing of these animals and what goes into doing that. Plus is it methane? Ethane? Methane. The methane gases, I mean, we've all heard about where they come from. So I'm not going to get into that. But there's billions of cows being mass produced a year that are putting out these methane gases. You know, it's like you just have to think about these things, and you just have to look into it. Like, I can't put into words. I know I've just brushed over all of this. Because like I said, I don't believe I'm the person that can convince you to change your life. I just don't believe I can do that. Maybe I should believe that. With this attitude, yeah, I probably won't be able to convince you. I get that. But please watch Dominion. You'll be so surprised by what goes on. Like, it's literally insane, the things that you see. And I don't want to give it away, but it is non-stop footage after footage after footage. It blows my mind. Like, you think, you know, we've all seen Cowspiracy and Earthlings, and you're like, yeah, I know it's not ideal. It's bad. I get that. But Dominion just, it's every single, like, animal that is being farmed or harvested or mass produced, and it just covers what happens to them in a lot of detail, with a lot of supporting evidence. I just would really recommend watching it, even if you don't care about being vegan and you're like, whatever, I'm not going to contribute to that, it's just not something I believe in. I would still just, like, recommend watching it just for, like, personal knowledge sake. Like, if you're someone that likes documentaries, if you're someone that likes hard-hitting information, I would recommend watching it. It's really good. It's well made, full of facts, full of evidence. It's a very emotional movie. Like, I was crying in the first, like, 5 minutes. It was terrible in that regard. But those things that you see that make you cry, it's not my tears to cry. It's the animals, because they're the ones going through it. And that's why it's so important to discuss it. And, you know, if you want to have a conversation about it, I'm definitely open to that. I'm definitely open to talk about these things and, like, what your ideas are, what your opinions are, why you think that it's okay. I'm more than open to have those conversations, because we don't get anywhere without having conversations. But I would, if you feel so strongly about it, if you feel so strongly about there's nothing wrong going on, I really would recommend watching it. It's very compelling. It does make it a lot harder to just turn a blind eye, and I know I've been guilty of doing that. I'm just going, yeah, I know it's out there, but I don't know enough about it, so what can you do? What can I do to stop it? Nothing, you know? But Dominion makes it it's very hard to turn a blind eye after watching that, so I do recommend watching it if you want to understand a bit more about why these people are protesting and why these people feel so passionate about what's going on. I also, I do want to talk about the protesters, because, as I said, my best friend is an activist. I'm really proud of her for doing that. I can honestly say that I did go vegan, and then back, and then vegetarian, and then I was loosely vegan, and then I don't think I would have been able to, I don't think I would have stayed vegan if it weren't for her. If it weren't for having Olivia in my life, I don't think I would care as much as I do. I don't think it would be as important to me as it is. Because I guess Olivia is someone that has really been there for me through a lot of things. She's someone that has always supported every cause that I support, just as a good friend, whether she, you know, has partaken in that or whatever. But she's always, you know, been someone that I consider to be in my corner for every fight. And so, if my one job as a friend is to be supportive, being vegan means doing that, then I'm more than happy to do that. But even more than just like friendship and all of that, like I said, there's been times where she's gotten up at midnight to drive for hours to go to some factory farm or something like that, or go to a protest, go to this and that. She doesn't have to do that, and she's not doing it for herself. She's not doing it for notoriety or any kind of benefit. It's not like she's making money out of doing that. She's doing it to hopefully and potentially save lives. There's not a lot of people in this world that can say that they do anything selflessly. It's very rare. If you've ever seen that episode of Friends where Phoebe says there's nothing that's selfless, and it is really, it's nearly impossible to find something you can do selflessly because there's always some kind of reward. I don't believe that these activists are doing this in a selfish way. I don't believe... I'm sure there are some that maybe do gain from going to these things, or maybe, you know, some activists or some organizations, and you can assume which one I mean, benefit from their values and their views. But I think just from seeing how much Olivia cares, not only about the animals, but making sure that the animals get to have a voice and that she gets to be that voice for them, it's like, it's impressive. It really means a lot. And it's like, I hope that, like, people know that, and that, you know, it's, especially when you read news articles about people you don't know doing these things that the media makes to sound insane and barbaric and a huge inconvenience to everyone, when really what they're trying to do is help these animals and give these animals a voice and speak for the animals and liberate the animals. You know, nothing's done overnight, and nothing is... I know that I don't have the rights I have because people sat on their hands all day. You know, people protested, people rioted. And it's just like, it's really impressive to me that for so long, she's been able to commit to being a part of a movement to benefit animals. That's never going to be returned. If every single person tomorrow stops eating meat, buying leather, buying fur, drinking milk, I know that these activists aren't going to benefit from that. It's the animals that will, and it's entirely a selfless thing to do. And I think people need to start looking at these activists from... They have a lot of love for these animals, and they want to make sure that they're okay, and I think that's really important. And like, it's just really... It's really important to see people for people, you know? And what I've seen in the media is these farmers feel attacked by the protesters. Okay, I get that. And so everyone feels like they can justify discrediting the protesters, maybe attacking them. And it's not about either. It's not about the farmers. It's not about the protesters. It's about the animals. I I don't understand why that's being overlooked. Like, the protesters, what I'm trying to say is these protesters have a lot to give for animals that can't speak for themselves, and that's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to say, I'm a vegan and you need to be a vegan too because I am. They're saying, these animals can't tell you how they're feeling, so we're gonna show you. And in all of this, the animals are the ones being overlooked. When we have these discussions, most of the time, people will say, oh, but the farmers. What about the farmers? They're just trying to support their family. What will they do if there's, for example, the milk thing, where money had to be donated to the dairy industry? I'm sorry, sweetie, but get a new job. If nobody wants your product, get a new fucking product. It's not that hard. Industries shut down all the time. Okay? Your industry murders animals. You torture animals. It's absolutely disgusting. And now because nobody wants to buy your product and the price has to drop, we need to spend taxpayer money on you people because you have no other credentials, because you don't know how to get another job, because you, in your 55 years of life, didn't take the time to come up with a second source of income. I'm sorry, what? Why would that be okay? It just would not be okay, you know? People weren't like, oh no, people that make CDs are going out of business, the iPod's here. Where was their handout? They didn't get one. They had to get a new career. These people that obviously can't make money off milk anymore need to get a new career. Get a new fucking job. People lose their jobs all the time. Get a new one. Go on Seek. Study something. It's not my fault that you don't have enough superannuation at 55 to close down your fucking farm. Whose problem is that? Yours. You should have thought about that earlier. You should have not relied on the bodies of animals to pay your bills for so long that you thought you would never need any other credentials. That is your problem. That is your fault. You are an idiot. We knew that the day we saw you torturing animals for profit. We knew you were an idiot, sweetie. This was not news to us. Okay? And now the realization hits you that you did absolutely nothing else with your life other than torture animals for your own financial gain. You do not deserve a handout from the government, you stupid bitch. Period. Okay, so there's that. And now that I've stopped eating, I'm probably gonna start getting worked up and aggravated because I'm not eating and stuffing my face and feeling there's that. Okay. What more can I say about it? People lose their jobs all the time. But I digress. Where were we? We were talking about the protesters and the farmers. Everyone's always like, oh, the farmers, what are they gonna do? The farmers are being attacked. We don't care about the farmers. The farmers aren't the backbone of my Australia. I don't care about them. I care about the animals. We care about the animals. We want the animals to be okay. We want to give the animals a voice. We want you to see how the animals are being treated, for you to make your decision. So go do that. But then, on the other hand, people are like, oh, well, these vegans are criminals. They're trespassing. They're going into these factories and they're filming up the joint, okay? The nerve that they have to waltz on in like they own the place when they don't. We know they don't because they're vegans and this is a meat factory. We know they don't own it, which I can tell you there are vegans that own livestock, and I'm not even going to get into that, but I've met a few. And that's a whole other thing for a whole other day, a whole other issue where they're vegan out of guilt for what's happening to their fucking cattle. Anyway, people are like, oh, everyone's trying to point the finger. And while everyone's trying to point the finger, Nobody's really thinking about the animals, and that's all the protests are about. The protests aren't about saying you're a bad guy for not being like us. The protests are about saying, look at what's happening to these animals because they can't tell you. And so we need you to take the time to go and look for them. Go and look for those facts. Go and look for that information, because I'm sorry, but is the chicken gonna get a rotary phone and be like, hey, this is Chicken McGee calling from Chickens R Us. Do you have could I just take a moment of your time to discuss what's happening to chickens like me? They don't have time. They don't have the resources. They don't have the time to do that. They're trying to fend for their lives. I mean, come on. Come on. What do you want? And I think people miss that. People miss the... Oh, you can see right through my hair. You can see my bum bit. People miss that fact. Is that the protests aren't about you. The protests aren't about the vegans. The protests aren't about people that are pescatarian or farmers. The protests are about the animals and saving the animals. And if you feel attacked by someone sharing the truth about an animal that you probably don't know, I mean, I think you have a few things going on that maybe you need to work on before you go, like, pointing fingers, because it sounds like you take a lot of blame for a lot of things. And maybe you should take blame. I mean, that's not for me to decide. I also think a lot of people hide behind a lot of excuses of, oh, we need meat. You don't need meat. If you needed meat, vegans wouldn't even be a thing. Because we'd all be dead. People hide behind... I think really people say that they need meat, and that's just, like, not true. So I really don't know what else there is to hide behind. People take it on as if everyone's saying, you're a terrible person, go kill yourself. No one's saying that. We're all just saying, look, it's torture for these animals. Think about it. Do what you can to prevent it. And if you're not going to stop eating meat, let the companies that you buy from know that you're not okay with how they're treating their product. And that's another thing you can do. If you aren't prepared to go vegan, that's fine. Well, that's debatable, but if you aren't prepared to go vegan, but you're aware of the cruelty and some of the standards, do what you can to change those standards. And, you know, maybe that's the best you can do. Maybe the best you can do is have one meal a day that's vegan. Maybe the best you can do is donating to, you know, causes to free these animals and save these animals and help these animals. And that is maybe the best you can do, and then so do that. But I just think that I'm full on my delicious vegan meals. And it's been a whole hour and 13 minutes. Look at me go. I've had a lot to say tonight. Very nice, very nice. I've had a lot to say. I'm passionate. I care. I care a lot about this stuff. I've probably missed like 1,001 things, so please let me know. Please ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to talk about it. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Check out Dominion. Check out Is It Vegan? Download the app. Check out some local vegan restaurants. Go to Doko Demo V, which I will link below. I'll link everything for you to find it, for you to see it, for you to figure out what you want to do, but just have all of the facts, have all of the information before you decide on who you're trying to point the finger at. Because, like I said, it's not about pointing the finger, it's about saving the animals and helping the animals and freeing the animals. I don't know what more I can say about it. So, like and subscribe for more mukbangs, for more vegan chat, for more sex stories. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, none of them have been like this, I don't think. But go check them out. Let me know what you think of those. Let me know what you think of this. Follow me on Instagram. Follow this restaurant on Instagram. I'll link everything below. I'll link Dominion. I'll link Is It Vegan? And use Uber Eats because it's so convenient. It saves time cooking. It really does. And it helps the economy. I'm not sponsored by them. I should be. The amount I order from Uber Eats, I should be. But that has been my dinner for tonight. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to take a nap. Maybe watch a movie. But that's all, folks. I don't think I can use that. It's copywritten. That's all, fellas. Imagine if I ended every video like, that's all. I mean, that would be funny. I could put that on a shirt. Look out for the shirts. I'm rambling. I ramble at the end of every video. If you like me rambling, then stay till the end of literally every video and you will get that. Also, just click on any video and I'll already be rambling. I'm still rambling. Thanks for watching. Go vegan. Watch Dominion.